W part. We are crippled and are being attacked by them.
We are the Borg. Your biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to our own. Resistance is futile.
Q9876. There is a detected incursion in Grid 897. You are ordered to investigate.
We will comply.
A war between the Borg and Dominion is something that has been hotly debated since the introduction of the Dominion in Deep Space Nine. Ironically, it was one of the first videos I ever did and helped propel the channel into what it is now. Looking at the Borg-Dominion War, while we do have some clues as to how a confrontation might go, the information we have is vague on how powerful Dominion weaponry would be versus that of a Borg cube or another Borg ship. An actual engagement would be very hard to determine without more information being canonized on screen. That said, let's try anyway.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us.
It is my understanding you have assimilated several Federation vessels in your past. Did you know that Starfleet attempted to teach us several lessons during the Dominion War? And do you want to know something?
Starfleet lessons are irrelevant. Lower your shields and surrender your ships.
Oh, no, I think this will be very important to you because, you see, we are fast learners.
Warning, warp signatures detected coming from all vectors.
Unfortunately, due to the fact that I'm not a millionaire, the animations that I'm providing will be brief snippets of how I think the initial battle would go. If you'd like to see a full battle, or perhaps the entirety of a Dominion-Borg war, let me know in the comments. Also take into account for me to do it, it would require fan funding, so let me know if you'd be willing to throw out a few dollars. For this scenario, the confrontation will occur between the Dominion and the Borg in a post-Dominion War era. How long past the Dominion War will probably be a little vague. However, we would still have Odo as the guide for the Dominion, helping the changelings understand what solids are like as well as just controlling the Dominion overall. The entire scenario would start off with, at some point, the Dominion detecting Borg activity. Not wanting to be reactive to the issue but proactive in dealing with the threat, Odo would reach out to the Federation for assistance. The Federation, now the only superpower left in the Alpha and Beta Quadrant, uses its diplomatic influence to sway the Klingons, the Romulans, and Cardassians to form a fleet to assist the Dominion in destroying the Borg. This would be hundreds of ships that would join the Federation Alliance fleet and make for the Bajoran wormhole to ultimately get to the Gamma Quadrant. They would be separated into various forces or battle groups in order to take on the Borg. Romulan scout ships are dispatched at this point to verify where the Borg incursions are occurring. As you saw in the last segment, once one of the vessels has been identified, the Dominion would spring its trap and attempt to pull the Borg cube to fight on the Dominion Alliance's terms. With a portion of the Dominion and Federation Alliance fleet now surrounding the vessel, the battle group would engage the Borg, for better or worse.
Shields at 30%, rerouting power from secondary systems to compensate.
This is the warship, Elam. We are taking immense amounts of damage. Losing structural integrity.
Bring around the USS McMahon to cover the gap and push forward.
Looking at the Borg in this era, we know that a cube has a complement of up to 130,000 drones. While initially using subspace fields that modulate and neutralize the type of weapon when they are attacked, later cubes would have been modified to utilize adaptive shielding, similar to technologies we see found in the Alpha, Beta, and Gamma quadrants. The vessel would have beam and projectile weaponry, such as missiles and magnetometric charges specifically designed to drain shields. Additionally, the vessel would have some form of disruptors or phasers, along with tractor and cutting beams. Ironically, while there would be advancements for the Borg, the Alpha, Beta, and Gamma Quadrant powers would be updating their technology much faster in order to combat this threat. This would mean that a Borg attack is no longer a curb stomp. As we see, Starfleet, Klingon, and Dominion forces would not instantly be destroyed. Hell, their weapons would probably cause damage. Unfortunately, Cardassian vessels, likely required to limit their military abilities and technology due to post-Dominion War treaties, would be easily dispatched. Oh, yeah, and they would probably have like a California-class vessel there at some point. It'd instantly retreat, though, when a phaser or disruptor got too near to it, because, well, it's a Cali-class.
Decks 6 through 8 have taken massive damage. Force fields are holding for now.
Captain Kataki, hopefully you'll fare better than our Cardassian allies.
They died with honor, and we've proved our mettle.
I like you Klingons. You're almost Jem'Hadar. Our shields are down. The Borg are beginning to beam aboard. My life for the Founders.
We've done what we can here. All forces, move to Rally Point 3.
The first confrontation would ultimately result in a defeat, as the picket line softens up the Borg ships and buys time for more and more forces to regroup. During this time, there would probably be some banter between the vessels, a way of working through the stress. As we've observed, any Dominion ship that is compromised by the Borg would attempt to slam into the enemy vessel, instead of becoming drones. The surviving ships would retreat, making their way for the backup picket line. And at this picket line, there would be a much larger fleet waiting to assist.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your
In my opinion, if the Borg are to have a weakness, it would be that they have an AI-like focus on things. Sometimes they can't see the trees for the forest. Once given an order to destroy something, like the Dominion Allied fleet, they would do this task without rest. The cube would follow the survivors to the next confrontation. As the battle progresses, the technology levels would start to show. The fleet would slowly be chipped away, with Starfleet and Dominion vessels still persisting, and very few Klingon and Romulan vessels surviving. And of course, no Cardassian ones. However, all of this would be a feint for the Dominion. The ultimate goal of the Vorta strategists would be to, well,
We have lost targeting systems. Switching to manual.
When analyzing the options, I feel like Vorta strategists would see the best resource to defeat the Borg, outside of biological warfare that they haven't had time to come up with, would be to simply expend Jem'Hadar assets. using them to cripple or destroy other vessels. This would be successful initially, taking out the first Borg forces, though I do believe the Borg would find a way to adapt ultimately. However, this would just be the first battle of the Borg-Dominion War, and it would be very, very costly. The Dominion Allied forces would not be able to win a war if they had to drown the Borg in their own blood to do it. There would have to be changes. Of course, this is how I think the first battle of a Dominion Borg war would occur. How do you think it would go? Is this something you'd like to see? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.
We are the Borg. Your biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to our own. Resistance is futile.